everyone, and welcome back to Missionary Thoughts Season 2. This is the very first episode of the season. So I thought we'd do something very special because we're about to go back on outreach. Now, those of you who've been following me on Facebook or even some of the YouTube videos that I put up in the past year, you know that I've been mostly here in the United States. We're about to go back on outreach, and then the next couple of weeks, we're going to Panama, Iraq, Thailand, Colombia, Guatemala, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Mexico, and possibly some other places. We're still putting everything together. But because of that, I wanted to show those of you who are going to be going on mission trips, either with myself, or maybe you're going with your church, or you're going with another group, then I want to show you the gear that I bring with me. These are the essentials, and I'll go through them I'll go through each item and why I have them there. Let's just go into it, and I'm going to go through it step by step, and I'll show you the whole table here first, and then we'll go through each item. Okay, so here's the table of all of the equipment. I'm just going to go over it real quick, just show you, give you this overview. And then once you have the overview, we will go through each and every item and why. Okay, so first and foremost, you got your backpack, right? Now this backpack is the one that I've been using for years. It's an awesome backpack. This is a North Face Overhaul 40. This is a 40-liter backpack. Here's the reason I chose 40 liters is because it's a carry-on. It will work as a carry-on if it's 40 liters. It's supposed to be 30 liters. I do 40 liters because I bring everything. I never check bags whenever I travel. It's all carry-on because if you're flying 10, 20 times in a year, the chances of you losing a bag are very high. So it's much better to have everything in a carry-on. So the reason I have the Overhaul 40 is because I can bring it as a carry-on. It works perfectly fine. And I have a smaller bag. It's just one of those small drawstring Adidas bags that you can get really cheap. I have one of those that I fit all of the stuff that's going to go under my seat, passports and all that kind of stuff, which we'll get into here. The smaller stuff or snacks or whatever can go under your seat. You can put your Overhaul 40. You can put them in the overhead bins, forget about it, and you got all your stuff in your smaller bag underneath your seat. I went with this one just because of the simplicity of it. I'm actually going to upgrade this soon to an Osprey backpack. The reason why is because the North Face, while this is an excellent backpack, it has your computer pouch, your main pouch here in the center, and just a basic pouch up front. It doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles on it. And it also has this secret pouch in the side where you can put any like passports or anything like that. This backpack is awesome, but the reason why I'm thinking about upgrading it is because it doesn't have straps on the bottom. And this has been a big issue for me because, as you'll see, whenever you have a sleeping mat or something larger that you want to be able to strap down on there, you can't. It all has to go inside. The next thing that you want to look at is your shoes. Actually, what I look for in shoes, these are Merrell shoes, which is a great brand. I've used all kinds of different brands of shoes. I don't have like a special one or a favorite one that some people do, but I actually tend to go look at the soles more than anything. I go for these ones that have really strong grip. For me, that is the most important thing because I end up climbing mountains and going through mud and slippery places. And I actually just started really focusing on this whenever I was climbing mountains in Turkey, and I was in a very precarious situation where I almost fell off, could have died, could have been very seriously injured, and me getting out of it all came down to having a really strong grip on my soles. And there have been too many people that I've seen who've gotten injured, they've gotten hurt because they didn't have a strong grip. By the end of those 5 months, these soles are going to probably be worn down, they're going to be muddy, they're going to be destroyed. You have to look at all of your equipment as destructible whenever you go on an outreach. No matter, that's why if you're only going on like a week-long outreach, I don't suggest getting really expensive stuff because it's probably going to get really dirty and you're going to end up throwing it away by the end of it. After the shoes, we have our sleeping mat. Honestly, this is the first time I've ever taken a sleeping mat with me. I actually used to never travel with sleeping mat. I would take a sleeping bag with me, but what ended up happening was a sleeping bag was so much bulkier, it would take up more space. As I tried to downsize, because I'm cutting out a whole backpack from my equipment this time. I used to always go with 2 backpacks. I'm trying to get it down to just 1, and so I decided to go with a less bulky sleeping bag and start going with this sleeping mat and just bringing like a really thin blanket with me. And that's always worked for me. If you're going on a trip that's going to be like, you're going to be camping a lot, because I spend a lot of time in churches, so I'm not always outside. A lot of times I'm not outside sleeping on floors and stuff. I sleep on a lot of airport floors, and I'll sleep in tents and stuff, which is good. But I used to, whenever I first started, I'd be sleeping under banana trees and stuff, and I would sleep with a hammock. Hammocks are awesome, but I have found this to just be more versatile, so I'm going with this. This one here is a Climate sleeping mat. I actually got it refurbished on eBay, so it's not even brand new, and it looks like it's gonna be good. It's had a lot of really good reviews. So it's a Climate Static 5. It's small, it weighs about a pound, and it fits right there in the backpack. Next, I highly recommend you get a microfiber towel. Now, you can get smaller ones. I got a pack of them because my whole family travels with me a lot and we all use them. They're really small, really thin. This is the largest one. You can get them, I usually travel with them. They're like that big. They're tiny little towels. They fit in these little pouches. They dry if you get a good one. Now, if you get one of those ones that you find on eBay, it's like $1 for 10. Those don't do anything. They just sort of move water around on your body. So you want to get a good quality towel, which are still not very expensive. They take up very little space. Well, they dry your body well, and then they dry out really quickly. So this is a Wild Wolf Outfitters microfiber travel towel. After that, memory foam neck pillow. This one is just like a generic one that I got on Amazon. I got it for 20 bucks. I had a really nice one for a long time and ended up leaving it behind in Thailand on accident. But this one actually came with one of these blackout masks, which I've never used before, and these earplugs. Now, earplugs I use a lot because when you're traveling, a lot of times you're in places where there's a lot of noise or people are staying up, you know, you have jet lag and everyone else was staying up and you're tired. So I use earplugs a lot. Now, neck pillow is another one of those things. It's totally just like, you know, a luxury you don't have to have, especially if you're going on a short-term trip. You don't have to do it. The reason that I got one of these was because I'm on a lot of like 30-hour trips. Like this year especially, I'm going, whenever I go from Panama, the nation of Panama, to Iraq, it's like a 40-hour trip. And so when sitting in those airplane chairs, and I'm an old man now, back whenever I first started in missions and I was 18, I was 16, you know, it wasn't a big deal. A lot of you guys are gonna be like, I don't need that. It's just gonna be a waste of space. It's up to you. But I use a memory foam one because some of the ones that they inflate, they may be a little bit smaller, but they're not nearly as comfortable. Blackout mask is gonna be fun because that's one of my issues whenever I fly. If it's the middle of the night, they'll turn the lights off, and then whenever they just wanna make a random announcement like, hey guys, we're really high now, then they'll turn on all the lights and wake everyone up and be like, all right, we're giving you water, and you may not want it. So the blackout mask is gonna be fun to try. Travel pillow. Some of you may be saying, you just showed us a neck pillow. Why would you have this pillow too? The reason why, I tried the neck pillow one time to sleep with, and it's great on a plane, but if you try to just lay your head on it, it's really awkward. And so again, this is a luxury a lot of people don't necessarily need, but I ended up getting this just again because I found myself sleeping on the floor so much or in tents. And I would take my jeans and I would just fold them up and use those as a pillow, or my backpack, which is just as good. I found it to be better to be rested than to, if you're doing long term, you're gonna want this. If you're doing just like a week-long trip, this is another thing you may be able to just cut out of your bag. But if you're going long term, you'll find eventually over the years with more experience that it is better to be rested and have a good pillow and be able to do your ministry strong, well rested whenever you get there, because you'll travel, like for me, travel to Thailand for 30 hours, and then you have a 12-hour time difference, you're exhausted, and then you're supposed to preach the next day or do some kind of ministry. If you don't sleep well, you're just dragging for days. So it's better to get a pillow. This is also a memory foam pillow that I got. This is a Thermarest. Next, we have water filters. You need a water filter wherever you're traveling to, unless you're going to like Europe or something. If you are going on a mission trip anywhere other than the United States and Europe, bring a water filter with you. It doesn't matter what people say. You want to be safe with it, because even if the water is drinkable where you're going, in a nation like Panama, for example, your body is not accustomed to the different bacteria and stuff that's in the water there. So you don't want to just show up and start drinking local water. You want to ease yourself into it. For 2 years, I used the Life Straw filter. Some of you may have seen that. They're cheap. They're like 20 bucks. It's just a regular water bottle with a screw on top and a built-in filter. Those are wonderful if you only want to drink water. This is why I've always had these as a backup, but now I'm switching to these as just my primary water filters. And this is the Sawyer Mini, and just the pouch that comes with it. It's like $25, maybe $30. The problem with the Life Straw bottle is you can't drink anything but water. Like, it will filter water for you, but you can't make tea, you can't make emergency vitamins, you can't do any of that kind of stuff. Whereas with this, I can take this water, I can filter it, I can put it in my Nalgene bottle, squeeze it into here, make tea, I can make coffee, I can make whatever I want with that purified water. These Sawyer minis, it's a squeeze system. I won't go into the whole thing for time's sake, but it does like 100,000 gallons of water or something like that. It works really, really well. We only ever had problem in all the years I have used these Sawyer filters. I've only ever had problems one time where the bag split open in Colombia, and we were still able to filter water because you can hook up to like hoses and stuff. But this is a really good water filter. You may want, if you're going to be using it extensively, if you're going for more than a week, I would recommend you get the one that comes with more pouches. But get the Sawyer Mini. The regular Sawyer, the older version, is bigger, not much bigger, but it's bigger. They filter exactly the same. They're both just as good, but the Sawyer Mini is just smaller, and it's just a little bit less weight, a little bit less stuff that's going to take up space in your backpack. If you can fit it, you want to bring one of these. This is the cover, a rain cover for your backpack. It just pulls right out. It's very small. It actually keep this in the dirty clothes compartment of my backpack, and it's just for emergencies. Whenever you're out there and it's raining, you just pull it out, slip it over, protects your backpack. It's really nice. This is a Bluefield one. It's just, there's tons of them. The brand doesn't matter for these. It just needs to keep the rain out. Also, like I just said, I use these Nalgene bottles. You can get them anywhere. They're like 10 bucks. I get them because they're cheap. If you lose one, it's not a big deal. They're really strong. They carry a liter of water. Last year I had someone gave me a bigger bottle, which was really good, but I found out that I found it to be a little bit too bulky, so I just downsized this, because you really don't need more than like a big, like 1 liter of water at a time. Whenever you're hiking, it becomes too much water for you at once. Flashlight and extra batteries. You want to make sure you have these. This is an Ozark Trail flashlight. It's an awesome little flashlight. I don't think I have batteries in it right now. This is a great little flashlight. It's strong, it's metal, and you want it to be small. You don't want a big flashlight. A lot of people like the ones that go on your head. I don't like those. The reason why I don't like those is because it only is good for, I call them the selfish flashlights, because everyone you talk to has to deal with you shining that light straight in their face. So I don't like those flashlights. I like these ones because I can control them where I'm going. And those ones are like, maybe if you're hiking in the middle of the night, which I don't do. I mean, you're almost never going to find yourself in missions in a situation where you're hiking in the middle of the night. It just doesn't happen very often. So these flashlights are good, and they're pretty much always useful, even if you're not going out into like a jungle or you're not going to some nature area. You want to have a flashlight, because a lot of these countries, even though you may be indoors the whole time, there are power, like in Panama and Mexico and all these places we go, there are power outages all the time. So you can find yourself in the middle of the night. You can be indoors in a beautiful house and have no power, need to go to the bathroom, and you can't see anything. Your phone battery's dead. So you want to make sure that you have a flashlight with you. Stuff bags. Now, these are dry sacks. These are awesome. These are waterproof, and they are good for everything. I use these. You're going to want to use it. I've always had them. This one I just bought, which is why it's still in the box, but I've always had some kind of, at least a trash bag that I've had it, because you're going to have dirty laundry. A lot of times you'll have backpacks, like my backpack has a dirty laundry compartment, but sometimes you get your shoes dirty or you get really muddy and you don't want to put it in your backpack, because then you have to clean your whole backpack out. And so these bags are great. They're great if you're in the middle of the rain, like you're hiking through the mountains of Nicaragua and it starts pouring. You can throw your stuff in here. It's really, really nice. Highly recommend them. Make sure you grab a box of these. Mess kits. These are cheap. These are easy. You can get them anywhere. You can get them bigger. You can get them smaller. Don't really need me to say much about them. All you need is some utensils, a plate, and a cup/bowl, and you will be good to go. Carabiners. You can never have too many carabiners on a mission trip. Sometimes you're out there and you want them to be good, all right? You can get the cheap ones, but these ones are really nice ones. They're great because you end up out in the middle of nowhere, or even if you're inside of a house, you may be in somebody like a clay house or a brick house, like the tribal kind of houses, and you have stuff and there are bugs all over the floor. You want to be able to hang your stuff, or if you have a hammock, you want to be able to hang your hammock. These are really fantastic. I usually have them hanging all over the place, even like I said, off my water bottle. This one has a compass on it too. I've never had to use a compass where I've been going, but there have been many missionaries and many tourists and travelers who have gotten lost, and they could have helped themselves a lot better if they just had a little extra compass on them. So I got this little compass that I just have that hangs around. It's very useful. So make sure you have carabiners. Very, very useful. Headphones. Now, this is a trick here. 2 pairs of headphones. The reason why, these are the primary headphones, which these are the Apple headphones. There's just a lot of course, they're headphones, they're awesome, so you use them all the time. But you want to bring an extra cheaper pair of headphones with a regular jack in them, and this is for your flights. Because many times you're flying and there's an in-flight movie, but you have to have headphones to wear, and they want to charge you $10 for the pair of headphones. So just bring a pair with you so you don't have to buy a new set. And their headphones are always awful. The quality is terrible. So if you can get some semi-decent, these are just Sony headphones I got on Amazon. I actually bought a couple pairs of them, and they just plug into any regular jack. You can use these on your flights. Just put them back in your pocket. And also, if your batteries die on this, I know if you have an iPhone like I do, you won't be able to use it, but you can recharge these and then use these on the plane. So make sure you bring an extra set of headphones for the flights, especially if you have lots of flights like I do and long flights, because these will save you from some boredom. Another thing you want to remember, and I don't have an example of it here, is you want to bring soap. Right? Now, I don't bring shampoo with me because you can buy it anywhere that you go. You're going to want a power adapter. These adapters, I always carry this one. I always have it in my backpack or somewhere nearby whenever I'm traveling. Look where you're going. Look the kind of power that they're going to have. You may not need this if you're in the Americas. Chances are you don't need them. If you're going to Asia or Africa, you're going to need them. So they're very handy to have. I always have one with me. So make sure you check and see if you're going to need a power adapter where you're going. External batteries and cables. I have 3 external batteries. I usually travel with 2. Now, these ones are solar powered, which I have found the solar panels to be worthless on every one of these that I have tried. It doesn't matter what they tell you. They'll tell you on the box, oh, they charge up in 5 minutes. What they don't tell you is it has to be like, the sun has to be like 150 degrees or something, and it has to sit out directly in the sun in like an impossible situation. I've been in the brightest sun and had these sit out for hours and never charge. So I don't know, I think you have to get one of those ones with the big solar panels. That's just a waste of space. Instead, I get 2 or 3 of these smaller ones, and they last. They'll recharge my phone several times. This one is the Power Ad. These ones are really good. These are the first ones that I bought. They're the best quality for sure of the ones that I've had. The solar panel doesn't work, but in terms of actual charges that it will do and how long it takes to charge them up, these are very, very good. This is a Power Ad. It's so worn down. 3,000, I think it's 3,000. This one is 20,000 battery power. It charges up. I just got this one on eBay. It's just a cheap one that I got. It works pretty well. It even has like a little flashlight on it. It charges up my stuff about twice. So you can pretty much go days on a couple of these, and by then you'll usually have a place where you can recharge again, unless you're going on like a long outreach. But you definitely want to have these to travel with you. They're very, very handy, and it will save you from not having any access to power during your travels. Here are some smaller things. Chapstick. It's amazing how often you find yourself stuck in a place where because of the change in the climate of where you're going, all of a sudden it's super dry. Make sure you bring some chapstick. Also, earplugs. Now, you may be a person who doesn't like earplugs. I use earplugs all the time. I didn't use them for years until I started putting more value on making sure I got rested so that I was able to minister correctly and have my strength when I'm doing it. And earplugs are really good unless you sleep with headphones, which I do sometimes while I put my Bible on there and listen to my headphones at night. But earplugs, really, really handy, especially during travel. And make sure you've got some meds, right? I have Advil in here because whenever I fly, almost every single time I fly, I get headaches, which is a bummer because I fly all the time. I fly a lot. So Advil for headaches, and then I have some Alka-Seltzer for any kind of stomach issues. Some people drink Pepto. Make sure it's not liquid because they will take liquid from you. Make sure it's some kind of tablet. And I also bring vitamin C, emergency. I take this every single day, even when I'm not traveling. It just helps your immune system. I also have all kinds of other little multivitamins and stuff that I take. And those things are very helpful to keep you healthy while you're traveling, because your body gets real tired whenever you're doing that. So make sure that you've got all of that stuff. Also, and this is a funny one, but I'm telling you, you want some breath spray. This is small enough. This is 0.24 fluid ounces. You can take, I think it's 3 ounces on a flight. It's been, I don't ever bring liquid, so I don't know the exact amount, but I'm pretty sure it's 3 ounces on a flight. But this you want to take with you because whenever you're traveling, you get some stank breath. You may not smell it, but trust me, I smell it. The person next to you smells it. You want to have something that you can spray and freshen up while you're traveling. So bring some of this or some Altoids or something. 2 wallets. That's right. I bring 2 wallets. This is my actual wallet that I usually keep my cash in a hidden pocket or something. And then I have this, which has all my cards and stuff. This is just a cool little card. It's got a card holder, and you can get these that have like a clip for cash on it as well. I don't like to have all my eggs in one basket. I like to separate them, so I keep my cash in one location, my cards in another location. This is a dummy wallet. This is because I've been pickpocketed and attempted pickpocketed many times now, and I've never been robbed like a gunpoint or anything like that, but you want to have a dummy wallet, and this has all kinds of fake stuff in it. It has like an old I think it's a Chick-fil-A, an old Chick-fil-A card. It even has a couple dollars in it and some receipts and some old business cards, completely worthless stuff. The dollars are in there because if a thief pulls it out and just sees a couple, like they just see paper, like old receipts, then they're gonna get mad at you. But if they see that there's some dollars in there, then they're gonna think, oh, there's more dollars in there, and they'll run off with it, and you don't actually lose anything. I got this from an older missionary who had also been robbed a bunch of times, and it will save you we hope it never happens to you, but in the situation where you do get robbed or pickpocketed, you want this to be the one that's standing out in your back pocket, because then they're going to pickpocket this one and just get nothing. They're going to get worthless stuff. Don't forget your passports. Put them in an extra bag, because you never know when you're going to get rained on or they get scratched. Mine got the face scratched, so make sure that the front cover got scratched on it. So I put these in Ziplocs now, because this is the most valuable thing. You can lose anything else when you're traveling, but you do not want to lose your passport. A book. Why do we bring a book? Of course, I have an iPad that I take with me. You want to have some kind of tablet. The reason why I bring a book now, I used to never do this, and this is not the kind of book I read, by the way. I just found this because it was just laying over there, and I was like, oh man, I gotta talk about the book. Because I was on a flight with China Air one time, China Eastern. I do not recommend China Eastern if you're gonna go flying. It was a 13-hour flight, and I got on there and they said no electronics allowed. They wouldn't even let me listen to my headphones. There were no in-flight movies. They wouldn't let me do anything. I tried to bring out my iPad, no iPad. I had my headphones plugged into the front of this in the front of the seat, because I was gonna watch a movie, because I thought they were gonna put something on. The airline attendant literally came up to me, pulled the headphones out of the seat and threw it on my lap. So it was the longest 13 hours of my life, because I couldn't do anything but just sit there, and I had absolutely nothing. So now I bring a book, or bring some puzzle, like word searches or Sudoku or something. Bring something, because if you're ever caught in that situation, you might want it. Bring a hat. I am not a hat wearing guy, but there have been more than one times when I have been out in the sun, when you're doing ministry in a really hot location and you're getting fried. Hat will save you from getting your face baked clean off your skull. Pens. Make sure that you bring pens. I actually usually have like 5 pens in various locations, because you will use them. Because especially when you're flying, whenever you're coming into the country, you have to fill out customs forms, and they always give them to you on the flight, and they never give you pens on the flights. So you need pens on the flights, and if they don't do it there, you will arrive in your location, and then you have to go find a pen and ask somebody for a pen. And so the reason I bring multiple pens is because somebody sees that I have one, and they always ask me for one, so I'm able to just say, hey, here's a pen, and then I don't feel like they're breathing over my shoulder, like waiting for me to give them the pen as fast as possible. So bring pens. They're very, very useful. Pajamas. Now, these are just shorts. I actually don't bring like full-on PJs, like a onesie. I just bring a pair of shorts with me, and these are just very light. Everything I have is the lightest possible. So so you want a pair of pajamas, and I'm going to show you these pants. I got these cargo pants. I used to travel with jeans all the time. This is why I got the pillow, because jeans are so bulky and they take up so much space that I finally, these are more expensive. This is why I use jeans for so long. But I finally broke down and I got some of these cargo pants. I got 2 pairs of these, and they're so awesome because they're very lightweight. These, you don't want waterproof ones, because those get really hot, but these ones are have like a water resistant cover on them, and the pant legs zip off, so they double as shorts. They're really, really nice. When I travel, I take 2 pairs of pants, and then I take a pair of pajama shorts, and then I have a pajama shirt that I wear. I will wear these until they're dirty. I'll wear them for a few days, and then I'll wash them, and then I'll wear the other pair for a few days, because you're on outreach, okay? You're not there to look pretty. You need something functional, and I want it all to fit in my backpack. This is why I'm able to fit the amount of equipment that I do. because I have very lightweight and just a couple pairs of these pants, and they have all these are great, these pouches on the side. If you want a pocket that you can put your boarding passes and your passport and that kind of stuff in, you want to make sure they Velcro down or they zip, or your stuff will fall out when you're sitting. That's no fun either. And these come with belts. These are important too. They come with these clip-on things. These are important because whenever you're flying, we all know you have to take off your belt whenever you go through security. And with these, you don't have to do that because they're plastic. Just in terms of clothing, just so you guys know, I bring 2 pairs of pants. If I can fit it, I bring 7 shirts, just for 1 for each day of the week. If not, I'll take it down to 5 shirts, depending on how much gear I am bringing with me. I usually bring like 4 pairs of socks and then underwear, of course. And then the last thing that you're gonna want is, because you're on a mission trip, right? You want to make sure that you have 1 pair of nice somethings for church, for whenever you go to church service. Everything else can be your t-shirts and whatever it is you're going to wear, whatever your leaders say is allowable on your mission trip. But you need to make sure you have 1 thing for church. If you're one of the women, you're going to want a skirt of some kind, and that's just because most churches overseas, they don't allow women to wear pants. You're going to lose your ability to minister if you're wearing jeans or something. Guys, you're going to want to bring some kind of nice shirt with you, like a button-up shirt, like the one I'm wearing right here. You see this? This is perfectly fine for church services. So then this is the kind of shirt that I would bring. It's lightweight, easy to fold up and put in your bag. It doesn't matter if it's wrinkled, it just needs to be buttoned up. So 1 pair of nice church clothes. Okay, well that's it. I hope this has been helpful for you to pack for your mission trip. I hope that this amount of gear will help you out, and I hope you're blessed. I am excited for the trip that's coming up. Stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, because we're going to be doing lots and lots more videos. If you haven't watched past videos to get a taste, I have a bunch of teaching videos before this from season 1. The last videos in season 1 are mostly teachings. The first like 30 videos of season 1 are mission trip videos, and there's going to be another 100 or so, 50 to 100 videos coming on in these next few months as I travel to all these nations. Stick with me, journey with me, and we're going to have a great time. And as I always say, there is more adventure coming. Do you have a call to missions? Do you have a passion to reach the unreached and to go to where the gospel has never been preached and disciple the nations? Consider praying about joining Found Ministries for the Missions Core course, where we will train you to go into the whole world, preach the gospel, train you in leadership, train you in missions and pioneering new. Even if it's domestic missions, international missions, it doesn't matter. This school will train you and equip you to take the gospel all over the world, pioneer new works, or join a team somewhere else. If you have that call, please pray about it. Check out our website, foundministries.org, and apply for the school. It's a 6-month school, and it will change your life. It will equip you for the calling that God has for you. This first school is going to be in February 2020 in Du Bois, Pennsylvania, and then there's going to be an outreach afterwards. I'm going to put that video, our promo video, after this clip. Make sure you check it out. Thanks, and God bless. The Missions Core course through Found Ministries is a 6-month missions boot camp for anyone called and that has a heart for missions. As a ministry, we focus on reaching unreached people groups. So this training is very much focused on going to unreached people groups, going to rural locations like Panama, like Nepal, like Thailand. The school consists of 6 months broken up into 2 3-month blocks. So the first 3 months is the classroom phase, and those 3 months are also broken up into 3 different phases. So the first month is focused on identity, on character, on you as a person, your calling, your gift, your passions, and developing those. The second block of the classroom phase is all about your overview of missions, right? We talk about mission statistics, church history, unreached people groups, how to go into these locations, language acquisition, all about legal stuff like visas, and how to simply operate in missions and get a general understanding of missions and how to operate on the mission field. Your third block in the classroom phase is all about leadership, because
what we do as a ministry, what Found Ministry does, is largely pioneer. We go into places where there's nobody else working and we start new ministries. So it's all about how to go from absolutely nothing in ministry, from going into a place where nobody's been before and developing into a full-blown ministry, preaching the gospel in many different aspects on the mission field. We talk about teamwork. We talk about how to work with people of all kinds of different personalities and giftings. The third phase is all about developing you as a leader. After the classroom phase, we go on a 3-month outreach. Our 2020 school is going to be in the nation of Panama, where you're going to be working with short-term teen children's ministries, working in hospitals, working with tribal people all over the nation of Panama for 3 months, where you will get all of the on-field training experience that you need. So if you have a call to missions and you have a call to unreached people groups, come join us in Found Ministries in the Missions Core course coming up in 2020.